Hey, Kearney Police Chief. Thanks for listening into your busy schedule for
my 30 questions.
Hey,
let's do it.
Kearney Area Chamber of Commerce, so you know how this works. How did you start your day this morning?
Typical day for me is coffee and the news, honestly, and come into work and see what happened overnight.
So pretty new to Kearney. What's your favorite thing about Kearney so far?
So far, I'd be honest with you, the best thing about Kearney is the warm welcome that my wife and family have had since we got here. It's a great community, very supportive of police, so it's just been overwhelming support from everybody.
That's good to hear. Where did you grow up, Chief?
Grew up in Weirton, West Virginia, northern panhandle of West Virginia, right outside of Pittsburgh, PA.
And you were in the military?
I was in the Air Force.
Okay. What's one thing that the Air Force taught you?
As a young airman and joining the Air Force, I think the number one thing I learned was independence and how to be responsible for yourself, but also a sense of service to not only our country but our community. So a multitude of things I learned during my time in the Air Force.
Well, thank you for serving. How long were you in the La Vista Police Department?
There for 21 years. Say, Captain Young, hold that elevator for us. Take the elevator.
What's the biggest surprise you've ever had?
That's a great question. I think the biggest surprise I ever had was making Captain Young hold the elevator for us as we go up the stairs. This is Captain Mike Young, by the way, our operations commander.
Captain,
we're doing 30 questions with the chamber today.
Very good.
I think about being surprised, and I think in the most recent time was whenever I got sworn in as police chief here in Kearney. I was proud to have several members of my family surprise me that I didn't anticipate being here, as well as members of my former police department that made the trip to be here for that day. So I was very surprised by that, for sure.
Awesome. Favorite ice cream?
Mint chip, Baskin Robbins, all day long.
What's one thing that people would be surprised to know about you?
Hi, Chief.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
One thing people would be surprised to know about me would be that a couple things actually. I'm a twin. I've got a twin brother, and a little kind of fun fact. I'm gonna have a seat here if you don't mind. I had the privilege of working the red carpet at the Oscars twice during my career in law enforcement, so that's pretty fun.
Nice. So obviously saw lots of celebrities and such.
We did, yeah.
What radio station is playing in your car?
As of right now, Sirius XM, The Highway. I love country music.
Very good. What's your dream vacation?
Turks and Caicos, and we just happen to be going there in June, so we're going to make that dream come true.
That sounded really good about right now in the snowy weather. What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear, I think, and I think about that question as a law enforcement leader. I think something that keeps me up at night would be just the safety of the police officers that are working here in Kearney and across the country for that matter. It's a dangerous time in law enforcement. It's a dangerous profession. So my fear is that I want to make sure that I give these officers everything they need to do the job safely and to go home to their families. So it would be that's definitely something that I think about a lot, and I'm proud to say that Kearney Police Department, we're providing our men and women with everything they need to do their job, a dangerous job, safely.
Absolutely. So what's been your biggest surprise about Kearney in your first 2 months being in our community?
The biggest surprise was the traffic. I'll be honest with you, if I had to think of something, there's a high volume of traffic throughout the entire city, which is good because I'm sure they're thinking about Chamber of Commerce. That traffic brings business, brings people to our community to do business and enjoy our city. So it's also a great thing that we have the traffic that we have here in Kearney.
Who do you look up to?
I look up to my parents. My mom and dad were great role models for myself and my brothers. And I think from my mom, she taught me how to be nice to people and treat people with respect. And my dad taught me how to be a hard worker. He also taught me to be nice to people and treat people with respect. But I think he gave me the work ethic that it takes to do the right thing and just be a good team member and be a good partner, whether it's working or in my personal life.
Perfect. Kind of looking around your office, what's the coolest, maybe favorite thing in your office?
Wow. I tell people when they come in my office, every single item in here has a story to it, and I did that on purpose. It's kind of great to spark some discussion. I think the coolest thing I have would be this little stapler right here. You'll notice on there, on one side it's engraved with Omaha Police Department, and on the other side it says Burg Detail for the burglary detail. So this stapler used to sit on my wife's grandfather's desk. He's a retired Omaha Police Lieutenant, and when he passed away, I was lucky enough to take that little piece of a souvenir from my wife's grandpa.
That's cool.
So
I bet that stapler could tell a lot of stories.
it could.
Have you had a chance to speak with former Chief Dan Lynch?
I did. I talked with Chief Lynch probably about 2 days after I was offered and accepted the job. We talked on the phone, and since then I've met with him several times here in Kearney. And he's been super supportive of me during the transition.
What kind of advice did he give you?
You know, one thing that sticks out to me was we talked, and we're talking about hiring new police officers, and I complimented him on the level of officers that work here, and I attribute that to him. He hired all of them, most of them at least, and he said, you know, always hire for fit for the Kearney Police Department, and we'll train them to be a great police officer, and I couldn't agree with him more.
Perfect. If you could play one professional sport, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to my West Virginia roots, and I'm going to say NASCAR race car driver.
Wow.
For
When
sure.
you're not working, what do you like to do?
Love boating. I love fishing. I love being outside. I love cooking, barbecuing, just hanging out at home. I really love spending a lot of time at home and working around the house, handyman types of things, spending time with my wife.
What's your most memorable work moment?
That's a great question. When I think about that, you know, nearly 22-year career in law enforcement, I always wish I would have taken better notes of all the things that I've experienced over the years. And I look back to 1995 when Officer Jimmy Wilson Jr. was killed on the line of duty in Omaha. I was in Air Force Police at the time, and that's the first fallen police officer funeral that I ever attended. And it really stuck with me as a memorable moment in my career, understanding the sacrifices that police officers make every day. So that definitely sticks out in my mind as a very memorable experience in law enforcement.
What do you see being Kearney Police Department's biggest strength in one word?
Team.
What is one goal you have for KPD?
Goal I have is to continue the progressive basically the progressive nature of what they do here in Kearney, involved with the community, engaging the community, and building upon what was here when I got here, and just taking it another step as we move into the future.
What is one thing you can't live without?
Best answer, my bride, my wife. She's my best friend, honestly.
Answer.
Yes, and definitely is a huge supporter and a support system for me.
You have a favorite sports team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
What's your favorite food?
Mascacholi and meatballs. I love mascacholi.
Favorite movie of all time?
Back to the Future, part 1, 2, and 3. I know that's not one movie, but I like the whole trilogy.
Good. What's your favorite app on your phone?
Spotify.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Favorite part of this job today as a police chief in Kearney is the fact that every day has been different. I know that sounds cliche, but honestly it has. I've been learning so much from everybody here. And the opportunity to hopefully take this department to new levels. Honestly, it's been challenging, but I love it every day. I walk out the door every evening, and I honestly pinch myself, thinking I'm pretty darn lucky to be here.
That's awesome. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Time travel.
What do you have planned for the rest of today?
I've got a lot of the typical administrative duties that I have, and visit with other members of our staff, and hopefully that's about it, honestly.
Good. Well, Chief Bryan Waugh, thank you for your time. Thanks for spending some time with the Chamber of Commerce today. This has been 30 Questions. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.